Hello everyone, and welcome to a very unorganized haul video. I'm not going to edit out my drinking. I apologize for it in advance. There's your blanket apology statement. Now, as you can see, the stack is big, and there's multiple tiers, so I'm going to try and get through it. And it's not going to, I was going to try and do it chronologically, but it's just impossible at this point. So, at the top is something I received as a belated birthday gift from my friend overseas. It's called Dracula's Brethren, Vintage Vampire Classics from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Fergus Hume, Louisa May Alcott, and others. And it is vampiric fictions edited by Richard Dalby and Brian J. Frost, with an introduction and bibliography by Brian J. Frost. There's gorgeous wood cuttings in it. The frontispiece from the 1820 edition of The Bride of the Isles. I love woodcuts. Woodcuts are so gorgeous. So this starts from 1820 to 1910 with some great stories. I am looking forward to reading this in October when I am knitting socks that are based off of the it's a colorway called Dracula. And so basically, yeah. Nikolai Gogol is in here, apparently. Is he in here? He's quoted on the back, I assume. Am I assuming? Oh, yes. Vi by Nikolai Gogol, 1835. So, a tribute to early writers, a collaboration of 19 archetypal tales written between 1820 and 1910, many long forgotten, celebrating the vampire stories that both inspired and were inspired by Bram Stoker's iconic novel. So that one's going to be fun. I look forward to reading that. Also, a friend of mine from Canada, in Canada, who is also a professor at the U of R, sent me this, and I've been wanting to read it for such a long time that I'm so excited, because I've been putting it down and picking it up and putting it down and picking it up and putting it down and picking it up to buy it, and it's never come home with me for some reason, and it's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. And she also has a wonderful podcast. Her second book just came out, I believe, or is just coming out in hardcover. This, of course, is apparently it utilizes some serious anthropological ideas, so I'm looking forward to seeing how she does that. She's got a degree in medieval history. I love this stuff. It's like Stiff, The Curious Life of Human Cadavers, or Death's Acres, Tale from the Body Farm. That's just really my jam. That's what I like to read a lot of. And I guess I'll do all four of these in one, but they came in two separate sets. Because one, actually no, these two are from this month. So I'm going to leave these for next book haul, just because I know those they just came today, and quite frankly, it goes against the whole thing. My husband is getting me the Dropcap series by Penguin. So JK was August and LM is September. So for J, it's James Joyce, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. And K is Sue Monk Kidd and the Secret Life of Bees. I'm not going to take off the plastic because I like the plastic. It keeps the new book smell in. And I am still stalled out at B because we're reading Bronte together and he had to take a break, but we'll be getting back to that in the middle of the month, so I will be done B at the end of the month, because let's face it, Jane Eyre is not going to take me long. And I apologize for the length of the video in advance. Now, I have spoken about I think it's the Man Booker Prize list, the one that's like just got announced, and it's the long list. The short list hasn't been compiled. And I wanted to get some books off of that, but I'm also kind of cheap. I like charity shopping. I like Goodwill hauls, but and there's Amazon, and then there's Book Depository. I just like Book Depository better, and it's cheaper. So I ordered a couple things off of Book Depository, and since I was ordering a couple things off of Book Depository, what difference does it make if a few more things fell in my cart, right? I mean, I was bound to get the Essex Serpent, and I didn't want the hardcover. I wanted the softcover, because I am not like a lot of people who want hardcovers. I want softcovers most of the time. Like, I do have hardcovers of some things, but if I can wait for it to come out in softcover, I will, half the time. So the Essex Serpent, everybody's read it at this point except for me, and raved about it, and I just wanted it. I could tell you the plot, but I really don't feel like it because I don't remember it quite correctly, and I know it's been done better by other people. Then I picked up one I saw making its rounds, and you can't get it, I don't think, on Amazon. They didn't have it at Barnes & Noble, and probably could have picked it up in Canada, but I didn't want to wait till I go to I'm going home, probably not until the end of the year or the new year. So I picked up The Good Immigrant, which is edited by Nikesh Shukla. It's the winner of the Books in My Bag Reader's Choice Award 2016. It has Zadie Smith, Anita Rani, Sanjeev Bhaskar, DJ Nihal, and a lot of people who have British Booktube, so like Kitty G, Mercedes of Mercy's Musings, Jen, lots of them have commented about this book and how great it was, and given where I live and given the weird climate we're in, I would really like to read some immigration stories, so I had to have it, because that's just how I feel about stuff. Maybe it's the maple leaf forever. Of course, coming on the hinges of the whole DACA problem we've got going on. The other two things I got were my Man Bookers, and that was primarily because they were so significantly cheaper. And I got Camila Shamsi's Home Fire, which I am told is a retelling of the Antigone myth, or not myth, the Antigone story thing. I just wanted to read it. There is one, like, I wanted to try and read them all, and then I kind of talked myself out of a couple of them. The one that's set during war I thought would just be too heavy for me right now. So, Home Fire. I like this cover better than the one I've seen here too. It may make me go read the Antigone myth, or the whole cycle, because I believe that's the third in a cycle. It's a trilogy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free. And Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders, who I've never read anything by. And Sophie Carlin raved about this, and people have really had some mixed reviews on whether or not they liked it. It's very interestingly written. It kind of reminds me of the House of Leaves style stuff, which can be very divisive in the book world. Who knew? So, the premise is it has to do with Lincoln and his dead son. Yeah, his 11-year-old son lies gravely ill. Days later, he dies and is laid to rest in a Georgetown cemetery. Lincoln returns to the crypt several times alone to hold his boy's body. And this is like death and stuff, and that just sounds really interesting. It's an interesting narrative to play with. I hear it's done well, and if I do half the Man Bookers, maybe I'll be happy with myself. Maybe I'll do the whole short list. Colson Whitehead is also on there, and I've waffled on whether or not I should read Colson Whitehead, because, again, really hit or miss, but I feel like it might be really good. I'm not 100% sure. The same thing happened with Exit West, though. I believe it was Insert Literary Pun Here, who really he did not like it, whereas Rincey from Rincey Reads really did like it, and I'm like, ooh, should I not? Ultimately, I should make my own decision and choose what I want to do, but then I look at how many books I've just got in and really want to read and think, I'm not as invested in that as I want to be, so no. No. Up next is my book of the month for August, which is The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. I'm not going to lie to you, I picked this one solely off of Steve Donahue's review of it and saying that we needed it, or that we need to read it, and apparently it has something to do with an author, and that is the length of what it's a huge chunking book. It's massive. I could use it as a weapon. And it's over 500 pages, and I hope it's good. I hope Steve has not steered me wrong. He could. It is fiction. The other thing I picked up, because, you know, Book of the Month, they have extras, and who's reading this? Becky Ford, I think, read this. Anywho, I thought, this is something I should probably check out. It's Killers of the Flower Moon, the Osage Murders, and the Birth of the FBI by David Grann. Because, you know, reservations and stories about reservations and the FBI, that's just up my street. So it's not very big. It was an add-on, so I figured I'd try it out. No harm, no foul either way. Right? Right. This actually isn't as long as I thought it would be. Then this one just it fell into my lap, or rather it zoomed into my arm as I was walking the aisles of the bookstore. It is The Lady in Gold, The Extraordinary Tale of Gustav Klimt's masterpiece Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer by Anne-Marie O'Connor. And I love Klimt. I may not say his name right, but I love him. I also really like The Kiss. I think it's just beautiful. And this involves a court case and a lot of intrigue, and I love me some history and weirdness and Nazis. As long as they're not current day-to-day Nazis, I find them interesting in a cultural sense. Like how culturally that came to be and came to pass and everything is... culturally, it's very interesting. On a day-to-day premise in my real life, when I'm out and about, that shit is scary. Then, oh crap, I bought the same one twice. Okay, maybe I should have a giveaway. I swear, I meant to buy the other one. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so I bought The Broken Eye, which is book 3, for $5.98 because I have the first one and this was $5.98. With my membership card, it was like $4. And then I thought I was being ever so witty, and I thought I bought book 2, but I ended up buying book 3 again on Amazon because I wanted to have them all ready because that's what we're reading next in our book club with my husband. Well, dang. I don't know. Anyone need a copy? I guess I'll just put it away. I suppose I could return it, but that's just a lot of effort. A lot of effort, and it's been a while. I've had it for a while. I can't believe I did that. Actually, I can. Oh well. And moving into the last pile here. Oh my goodness, we're into the last pile. Anywho, this is the book 3 of the Lightbringer trilogy. I've got book 1 at a Friends of the Library sale, and book 3 I got at Barnes & Noble for $4. And I got book 3 again for $10 on Amazon. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, I still only paid for like one book. I picked this up, I think it was Portal to the Pages who inspired this one. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been Insert Literary Pun Here. I get those two confused. The names, not the people. I can see them in my head. It's The Literary Conference by Cesar Aria. It's a tiny little guy, and translated from the Spanish by Catherine Silver. Cesar is a playwright and translator who has fallen on the very hard times due to the global economic downturn. He is also a mad scientist hell-bent on world domination. On a visit to the beach, he intuitively solves an ancient riddle, finds pirate treasure, and becomes a very wealthy man, but even his sudden riches can't shake his determination to conquer the world. Cesar hurries to attend a literary conference in order to be near the world-renowned Mexican author Carlos Fuentes, whose clone, he hopes, will lead an army to victory. A comic science fiction fantasy of the first order, the literary conference is a perfect vehicle for Cesar Aria's takeover of the 21st century literature. So, while it's not very big, I am looking forward to reading it. It's like 92 pages. Frank approves. Did I show you these? I don't remember if I showed you these. Well, in case I did show you these, I'll go over them one more time. I'll just go through these really quickly. Abby Prevost's Manon Lescaut, new translation by Angela Scholler. A tale of passion and betrayal, of delinquency and misalliance, which moves from the early 18th century Paris with its theaters, assemblies, gaming houses, via prison and deportation to a tragic denouement in a treeless wastes of Louisiana. How could you go wrong? Treeless wastes. Are you okay there, Frank? Okay. Then we've got the complete prose and tales of Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, translated from the Russian by Gillian R. Aitken. This includes The Moor of Peter the Great, a novel in letters, the tales of the late Ivan Petrovich Belkin, which has several stories within, the history of the village of Gorushinko, Roslavlev, Dubrovsky, the Queen of Spades, Kirjali, Egyptian Knights, and the Captain's Daughter. And it's purty. Ivan Turgenev's Rudin, which is apparently his first novel. A failure in the vein of Don Quixote or Hamlet. Or Don Quixote. That was not very big. And The Bookseller of Kabul by Asni Sierstad, which, is this fiction? No, this is current affairs. It's a non-fiction book about a bookseller who brings in contemporary banned books in Kabul. Subsequently, you can get in big trouble for that. Persepolis by Marjan Satrapi. This is the first one. There's two. There's Persepolis 2. But since I got this at the used bookstore, that was pretty awesome. Significantly cheaper. And then I'll just get book 2. As You Wish, the story of the inconceivable tales from the making of The Princess Bride by Carrie Elwes. Of course, I will read anything that has to do with Andre the Giant. And I love the movie, but not as much as I love Andre the Giant. The last thing I picked up secondhand is The Toughest Indian in the World by Sherman Alexie. It's a book of short stories, and as I have said, I really enjoy Sherman Alexie. I've read one thing by him, and for some reason that means I need to get it all. So I'm working through that. And I'm still kind of unimpressed with myself about the whole book 3 thing. Anywho, that's all my haul for this month, and I will see you again next month.